I'd say 15 minutes. We'll build this app in about 15 minutes. Sound good? So the first thing you need to do is inside, whenever you open up a Node.js environment in Cloud9, you create a new workspace. They give you a bunch of files here. Now, this file structure you'll see in our project too, but they have node modules here, just like we've seen before. They have 3 modules they're using: async, express, and socket.io. We're going to be using one of those. It's called express, but we won't be using the other ones. They also have a package.json file and a server.js file here. If you look at their server.js file, this is a pretty complex socket-based real-time server. We're going to make something that's similar to this, but not quite the same. So in fact, what I'd ask you to do right now is click on the client folder and then hold down shift and click on the server and just delete them all. Right click, delete. Delete everyone. What's that? Just delete them all. Once you yes to all, you should have an empty thing like this. Actually, if you open up the hidden files, you should have one folder that says .c9. That's the only one that should still be in there. Everything else you should just delete. Because I'm going to teach you how to create a new app from scratch. Cool? You click on this little settings button, you click show hidden files, and that should show all the hidden stuff. The reason why I'm doing that is because we are going to create some new hidden files in a second, but for now, this is the only one that should pop up. The next thing I want you to do is I want you to make dir a new directory called first-server, and then cd into that directory. Now, we talked a little bit before about NPM. Node Package Manager, NPM, is what manages all of the code that you pull down from NPM in your projects. It's why Node is so powerful. It's why Node is what it is, because their package system is just so strong. If anyone's ever written in Ruby before, Ruby has gems. Gems are awesome when you have the right ones. Node has a lot of similar gems that do very similar things. So to get a new project started in Node, all you have to type in is npm init, I-N-I-T, and hit enter. The first thing that it'll ask you is name, just hit enter. Version, just hit enter. Description, just hit enter. Entry point, enter. Test command, enter. Git repository, enter. Keywords, enter. Author, you get the picture? Just hit enter all the way through. Is this okay? Enter. Now you can do this much quicker by just typing in npm init-y, and that'll just do it all for you. But I just want to show you the long way first because it makes you mad, and it's awesome. So then if I open up my first server folder, I have a file called what? Package.json. Open it up. Open up the package.json. This is what configures our entire project. Now inside this package.json, I actually don't want you to touch anything. Unless you want to add a description to it, like teaching the homies about Node. You can put whatever you want in there, I don't care, but it doesn't matter. The only important thing is that you keep the exact structure they give you. JSON files, .json, are very particular about formatting. You have to use double quotes. You have to have the right quotations. Everything should be indented properly. Make sure you have the exactly correct formatting, because if you don't, it'll break your project. So I'm going to save this, and I'm going to get started simply by touching a new file. This new file is going to be called server.js. Now I'm going to hit enter. To make our server, we could sit down and write our own server, use a couple different HTTP modules or whatever, but fortunately for us, a very talented developer named TJ Holowaychuk spent some time writing the Express module. The Express module makes creating apps from scratch super easy. So I'm going to bring the Express module and a couple other packages into our project by typing in npm install --save, which will save all the packages I'm about to install inside my package.json file. And then I'm going to type in the name of the NPM projects. Now you might be asking me, where do I find out these names? You find them by going to the NPM site and looking them up. Or you just know that they exist. So you type in express space Morgan space body dash parser. Those are the 3 that we're going to need. That's pretty much it, actually. We might need 1 or 2 more later, but for now, that's basically all we need. Morgan, M-O-R-G-A-N. Now when you hit enter, your package.json file should start to update itself with your new dependencies as it downloads them. Ooh! Look at that. In your package.json file, scroll down a little bit, check out what we have under dependencies now. If you don't have this, it means you did not type --save, or you did not enter in the name of the NPM packages correctly. It's okay. You can always just go back and do it again. Nothing you do here is not redoable. So don't worry if it didn't work right the first time. But also, let's look in our folder. What is the new directory that got put into the first server directory? You see it? What is it? Node modules. Open that up. Do you have body parser express and Morgan? Great. Never touch those again. Close the node modules directory and never open it again. I'm just kidding. You can open it up, but I would recommend not touching them if I were you. If you don't know what you're doing, don't touch them. Cool? All right. Now, let's write our server. So inside server.js, here's what we're going to do. We're going to write a little bit of code, but first we're going to require the code we need. Yes. Yeah, of course. We're going to type var, and actually, by the way, in case you're curious, nowadays people are no longer using var in JavaScript anymore. They use 2 different things instead. They either use const, which stands for constant, which means it's not going to change. We're keeping whatever is stored inside this the same, or they use let, which is like var, it's going to change. They do this for consistency. If you say const, it means like const age equals 5. It means that my age is not going to change. I'm never going to reassign age to something else. But if I was like let hunger equals full, that might change very soon to something else. People use const and let way more often, by the way, in case you're curious. Now, and for this tutorial, I'm not going to do that for the time being, but this is called ES6. It's the new version of JavaScript that makes JavaScript so much better. But for now, I'm just going to stick with var. But if you do see some const and whatever's inside your packages, that's where they're coming from. So we're going to say var express equals require express. And all this does is it pulls our express package into this file. We're going to say var logger equals require Morgan. And then we're going to say var body capital parser equals require body dash parser. And then I'm going to stop this for a second and pause and answer your questions. So now that I have the express package stored in a variable, I can create an app by simply saying var app equals run express, like that. And the result of running the express function gives you an app. And I just store it in a variable called app. And now, below that, I can make my app do stuff. So the first thing I'm going to make my app do is I'm going to make it listen on a port. What that means is it's going to pay attention on a single port that I can access at any time. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to create a port variable. Var port equals, and this you have to do for Cloud 9 only. I wouldn't do this in another situation, but for Cloud 9 you have to say process.env.port or 8080. Now this is a little confusing, so let me break down what just happened here. Port is holding a number in it. I think that number is 8080, but it might be something else. Whatever process.environment.port holds, whatever number that holds, that's what number I'm storing in port. The reason why is because it's like a channel. It's like an XM FM radio. If you don't listen to the right channel, you don't get anything on your radio, right? It's the same thing here, except Cloud9 is a very specific port that you have to listen on to get your server working. So I access whatever Cloud9 has in the environment that they've created for the process that I'm currently running, which is this Cloud9 process. You don't need to know anything about this, just know that we have to do this for Cloud9. It's sort of like running Shotgun. It's exactly like running Shotgun. And then all you do is you say app.listen at the port, and you're done. But because that doesn't really give me any information, I always give it what's known as a callback function, which means right after it listens on the port, I want it to do something. I want it to run this function as soon as it's listened on the port. So we're going to say function, and I'm just going to console.log app running on port. I'm going to just close this so you can see this easier. App running on port, and then I'm going to say plus port, so I know exactly which port it's running on. And this should configure my app to listen in on whatever port it is. So if I save this, I now have a fully functional app ready to go. Isn't that cool? You're like, no, I have no idea what's happened. This is not that cool yet. It's not cool until you actually run the server.js file. So type in, I mean that it has all of the configuration set up necessary to issue get and post requests, which we'll do next. But first, just to show you that it can listen on a single port, we type in node server.js, and it tells you app running on port 8080, and you preview live running app. Preview running application, you should get nothing on your screen. It should say cannot get or something like that. Let's find out. Cannot get. There we go.